Well, welcome everybody, and thank you for being a part of the story of the House of Commons of Canada's digital transformation. I will begin by explaining to you how I view a digital transformation and sort of where its cycles or phases come from. And it's not just one day someone decides in an organization to do a digital transformation. It's an organic process, but there are some unique milestones that can be describing, I think, better what we all call digital transformation. It starts with digitization. I think most of us have shifted from paper to digital renderings of information. I'll be the first to admit the House of Commons is still not fully on that end cycle of that sprint. So we're still in some areas looking at digitization, but we've definitely done a lot. And when we get to that next stage, which I call digitalization, it's really around the processes that we are then moving that information throughout the organization and into the hands of people. And where real digital transformation comes is when the people themselves, the culture and the organization and its values become ingrained in that full end cycle. I'll let you know that from how we see things here at the House of Commons, we've already gone through three major, let's call it cycles of digital transformation, and we're in our fourth. And I'll get to that, but let's first take a trip down memory lane where the digital transformation first began, roughly. So it was around the year 2000. A system called Prism was developed and built, and I called this the build era. When in that time frame, it was very hard to go and buy products and platforms and technologies and just configure them like we have today. So we had built in these early days in the year 2000 a complete ecosystem for legislative information. And that really revolved around a core concept of relational databases. And we were able to, through digitization and digitalization, we were able to transform the legislative environment here at the House of Commons across business lines such as the chamber, the committees, and international inter-parliamentary affairs, where we were able to provide better services ultimately to members of parliament and ultimately Canadians, all through tremendous digital capabilities such as search, indexing, integrated broadcasting, all while mobilizing amazing teammates and workforce towards this united service delivery. That was the build era. Let's fast forward to around the year 2010, when we enter a new era called the reuse or extend era, where we started to say, geez, we really don't need to be building a lot of these things from scratch. And there's a lot of information still left to be digitized or digitized and digitalized in terms of paper to digital information, to processes, and ultimately to transformation. And in that era, two things were born: a real handling and understanding of our information and information management, and how we needed to manage that information in terms of custodianship and exchange. Because if we're transferring and moving information across business lines, across different teams, what is the agreement and understanding of how that information is used, consumed, and then delivered across our organization? We also entered a new paradigm where case management and such major systems like CRM, customer relationship management tools, were able to then harness other areas of the business, such as human resource, financial management, legal management. So this really where that second era of building and then now extending and reusing existing market value systems was able to really bring us to our second major digital transformation milestone. Let's keep moving forward to the year 2020, roughly, where we entered a new era. I call it the platform era. And in this era, our focus was really on, okay, wonderful. We've built decades worth of systems and information that has been digitized and digitalized. We've transformed many areas, but what does it all mean to our clients, our members of parliament and their staff, and us in the House of Commons administration as clients, really getting the benefit from all of these different disparate systems of information? This brought us to the client-focused service era of orchestrated service delivery through common user experiences. And in this era, we quickly realized we weren't quite structured as teams, as delivery teams, whether it's digital teams in the product areas or in our business areas working together. We weren't quite organized well and had models of delivery that were going to meet those demands. And that's where we also tied both the technology to new delivery methodologies such as product-centric delivery. And that itself was a transformation insofar as building an organization that was organized into product lines. And today we have 11 that were focused really on those core areas of products and information that could work together to then deliver on that client-focused service orchestration. And yes, on fewer and more pronounced platforms. So that platform era is still in place as we are today in 2024. And that brings us to our last and final era for now, as we know the future is yet to be written. But we are, as I think we can all appreciate, in the AI era, the artificial intelligence era. And in 2024, the House of Commons of Canada embarked upon creating its own AI guidelines. There's wonderful collaboration across the world and internally to produce these guidelines in June of 2024. And in that vein as well, several pilots for AI use cases were initiated, such as the automated speech recognition pilot. And I'm happy to say this is a production grade offering that we do now for our publication process. So the Hansard and the committee evidence are being leveraging WEPR AI as a core technology to deliver quicker turnaround times, enable service providers to have a quicker turnaround time themselves to work with the information. OCR, optical character recognition, and even GitHub Copilot was used in terms of piloting in our development teams to produce code quicker, to get to outcomes of building products that help our services and ultimately our clients better. Also this year, we founded a information management policy that was approved at the board here at the House, which really focused on stewardship and classification of our information, proper handling whether that was human-based handling or systems handling data, and ultimately driving accountability. Because as we know, we've come over 2 decades worth of harnessing and creating information and data, and knowing that the next frontier of AI is completely hinged upon success of how well we've managed our data and understand it, so that we can move towards this next stage of digital transformation to truly affect how people are working with AI and how we're able to harness that better. Last but not least, I'll just mention some notable mentions of things coming next year in 2025. We have a very large business intelligence and data management strategy coming, where the House of Commons will see its very first enterprise-wide data lake architecture. So essentially freeing our data from its systems and applying the rigor of our IAM policy on top to allow anyone, anywhere in the organization with the right roles, of course, and access to get access to the critical data they need to make decisions. We also seek to publish an AI strategy, including guardrails and with all updated policies across the House of Commons next year. And last but not least, of course, more pilots, more testing and trialing. And some of those include live transcription and more search capabilities across the board. So I hope this helped in understanding a little bit, a quick insight into the House of Commons digital transformation journey through the eras. And thank you for being with me today.